Galaxy of Film presents
Perfect organism.
The blackest eyes.
Black eye, like a doll's eye.
I admire its purity.
It's purely and simply ethereal.
Monster Mayhem.
Alright guys, welcome back to the brand new episode of Galaxy of Film. I'm of course your host Max, and we do have my co-host here, Dakari. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. Just trying to stay afloat. How about you?
Pretty much the fucking same, dude. It's been a time, but you know what? I love this podcast. I love this platform. It's Tuesday. I wake up every Tuesday knowing I get to come on here and talk shit with you guys about some good movies. Occasionally some really, really awful ones. And that's always the highlight of my week, dude. Truly. But we do have our other co-host for this week. We do have Will. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good. We're getting really close to Halloween.
Yeah.
I am deeply immersed into the spooky spirit. The temperature outside's finally starting to get low, and there's crunchy leaves all over the place. Like, I'm feeling it. Got all these decorations out. You know, I've already had like a Halloween party, and I'm going to have another one on this Friday. And this is what I live for. This is the best time of the year for me. And I'm glad I can talk about two of my all-time favorite horror films tonight with you guys, to share that spirit with y'all. So
hell yeah, dude. I love it, man. I love it. You're right. It is getting cold out finally, dude. It's been cold for a couple weeks here in Idaho. God, I can't believe I just said that out loud. That's where I'm at. But it's been cold as shit here for a little bit. But we're finally, like, I don't know, like, I'm used to, I'm wearing shorts in this time in North Carolina still. And it's cold over here currently, but, like, we're just now getting to the point where the leaves are coming down, which is weird. I guess the trees are just built different out here, dude. I don't fucking know. But, yeah, it's so cold I'm wearing a fucking beanie. I don't ever wear a toboggan or a beanie, bro. And I'm cold as shit currently wearing this. Dakari is wearing one too. He must be a little chilly down in Atlanta. Like, this is nuts, dude.
I'm wearing my little jacket right now.
It ain't no wannabe. It is chilly. It's 51 degrees.
Shit, bro, let me take a look at the weather app right now. See what we have here. 36. Goddamn. Yeah, dude.
Oh, 50. Okay.
I'm going back to North Carolina this weekend, dude. Thank God. Ready to get out of this weather a little bit. Get some humidity on myself again. But that's enough rambling, guys. That's enough for introductions for this one, because it is our final episode of Monster Mayhem for 2025. We need to get pumped. We need to get excited. Well, you already mentioned, you gave our listeners a little bit of a spoiler. These are some of your favorite horror films of all time that we're talking this week. We are, of course, discussing Return of the Living Dead and Evil Dead 2. Now, for our listeners, we have not discussed the first or the third Evil Dead movie yet. However, we have discussed the 2013 remake / reboot, and also the 2023, was it 23? Evil Dead Rise?
Evil Dead Rise, yeah. I think it was 2023.
Something like, I'm just blowing through. But we covered Evil Dead Rise regardless. So link down below for that episode discussing those two films. I do think within the franchise they pair pretty well together. I know we're getting another film, Evil Dead Burn, at some point. And of course the original trilogy, Evil Dead. There's also the show Ash vs. Evil Dead, which we have not taken a deep into yet.
I believe there's like 3 seasons of that.
Yeah, and they got canceled right before the finale, I think. Yeah, dude, they did a My Name Is Earl film.
It got canceled.
It still ends. If you've seen, I won't spoil anything, but it ends in a very Evil Dead way, where like I'm like, okay, yeah, that could be the end of the show. Like, that's fine.
Okay.
Like, it's not like a major cliffhanger, and
So it's not a total My Name Is Earl situation.
No, it's
okay.
Yeah, you could watch it and it's fine.
Cool. But regardless, we have not discussed 1 and 3. We are here talking about 2, though, for a reason that I just didn't quite understand. But Will, you were like, trust me, dog, this is a perfect pairing. Holy shit, this is one of the smartest pairings we've had here on Galaxy of Film. Just want to go ahead and say it, then throw that out there. We're talking horror comedy. We're talking about, like, parodies within the series even. Like, this is such a niche, cool little, like,
reboot.
pocket. Yeah. I don't I don't know, dude. I don't know what they're smoking on set of these films, but I wanted some of it because these are great. We'll dive into these topics, of course. However, we do have a couple in-house announcements like usual, and we're going to go ahead and go over the news this week as well. First up for announcements, of course, as we've discussed for a couple weeks now, Acts of Violence, Will's new film, is now released on Galaxy of Film. Check that out soon. For November, we do have Dakari's next film coming out, which will be pretty cool. We'll have a little bit more info on that during the next episode of the podcast, so stay tuned for that one. A link down below for the GoFundMe currently going on for our next film, Would You Like Fries of That? And also a little film that we're in production / pre-production for. It's kind of a weird hybrid piece we're working on called Project News. So yeah, you can go ahead and support that film by checking out the GoFundMe, like I said, link down below. Next week, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be in North Carolina. I'm flying, dude. It's Halloween this Friday. Next day, Saturday, November 1st, I'm leaving at like 3 in the morning to catch a flight to go back home. So Halloween will be very short for me this year, unfortunately. But looking forward to being back home. We'll be having a special screening both November 4th and November 8th. If you're in the Hope Mills, North Carolina / Fayetteville, North Carolina area, come over to Sandhills Premium Cigars over in Hope Mills. I actually shot a commercial for them a while back. The owner, Tim, is a long friend of mine. He's also in both and Project News. So yeah, he's an entrepreneur, started his own business at Hope Mills, a cigar lounge and shop. We'll be doing a double feature screening there for Goonies and Agony, and it's a cool experience. If you're attending this event in person, you'll be able to see an exclusive sneak peek preview of Would You Like Fries of That. A little nice incentive to keep going down for that. And November 8th, we'll be playing at the Beaufort Film Festival in North Carolina as well. Very, very excited about this. I've talked about it a couple times in the podcast now. But this is where we shot a majority of anything that you see Chef on camera for. With the exception of like some of the farmers market stuff. All that is in this town called Beaufort. Little like Outer Banks, cute beach town. Been going there my whole life. It's cool as shit. It has a lot of cool history if you're into piracy. This is where Blackbeard used to live. So like the Blackbeard's house makes a little cameo in as well, which is a little fun thing. So yeah, check it out if you're in the North Carolina area. That's November 4th for the little double feature. That's a free event in Hope Mills at Sandhills Premium Cigars. And the Beaufort Film Festival tickets are available as well online, so check that out. Well, that kind of goes into our next in-house announcement. Next week, first week of November, we're going to be taking the week off just because I'll be out there filming, going to these festivals. I don't want to give you guys a half-baked podcast next week. So Dakari and I are going to take some time off, rest a little bit, to give you guys a better show during week 2 of November, so stay tuned for that one. We got some cool stuff in the works for that, but I don't want to make too many promises just yet in case we got to move a couple things around for our schedule. But stay tuned. Really, really fun stuff in November regardless. So yeah, let's dive into the news this week, guys. And funny enough, this is kind of like the light at the end of the rainbow almost, dude. We got a weird piece of like horror news in a sense. Quentin Tarantino is returning to acting, and this is the first time since Muppets Wizard of Oz. He'll be starring.
He was in that?
Yeah, he's in Muppets Wizard of Oz. Yeah. Well, his most notable role acting is, of course, in From Dusk Till Dawn, which is his last real leading role. But yes, all jokes aside, he is in Muppets Wizard of Oz, which came out afterwards, and I just think it's funny as shit. But yeah, he'll be acting in the new Jamie Adams film alongside Simon Pegg. So really interesting combination. We've only really seen him before in his kind of solo roles. I guess technically he's in Django too, even though it's not in a very prominent role. It's 2012. But yeah, we always see Tarantino's characters in his own films like very independently, like they're either the not necessarily the punchline, but they're like the ending saving grace for a situation going on, like with Jimmy in Pulp Fiction, or in the case for Django, a punchline as well. So I don't know. We get a great chemistry between, George Clooney and Tarantino, and From Dusk Till Dawn. That movie's a classic. We talked about that last year in the podcast. I'm really interested to see what he'll do with Simon Pegg in this film. I'm actually not the biggest Simon Pegg fan out there. I haven't seen like his stuff with Edgar Wright, Shaun of the Dead. So I don't know like with what he's like in that kind of environment usually. I'm just really hoping that more than anything they have a chemistry that's not necessarily like similar to him with Clooney and From Dusk Till Dawn, but something that's comparable, at least worthy of a comparison. See, I don't know. I'm pumped for this one. Dakari, how are you feeling about Tarantino coming back to acting?
I don't know. I don't know because it's been a while since we've seen Tarantino on screen as an actor. So I don't know, but it should be pretty interesting. We'll see how it turns out.
Fair enough. And Will, do you have any comments on this?
Tarantino, he does have like a bit of range in what I remember him being in, of course, between like the very comedic kind of acting that's in like Pulp Fiction, and then from Dusk Till Dawn, he's very psychopathic. He's kind of terrifying and off-putting in that. He can really play it either way, and I'm excited to see him acting again. He is good at it. I'm sure he's gonna have some lines that he might have a little bit more control over, like with the script. I'm sure, like if Quentin Tarantino's on set, I'm asking him,
yeah,
like when you think your character should say, he's literally the king of dialogue. So I think that's a great thing because I know he's weird about the whole "I'm going to retire after my 10th movie" thing.
Yeah.
So to keep him kind of around in the cinema sphere, coming back with like small or big roles in acting would be a cool way to keep him around and relevant and in cinema. So
I agree.
Yeah, man. I was gonna say, I mean, he was cool in Pulp Fiction, I guess, but he kept dropping that N-word too much.
Yeah, that is fair.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Django, though. He drops it like 10 times in that one scene, dude. However, I will say this: while in Pulp Fiction he is that punching line or that punching bag for especially when the wolf comes in and there's this like dialogue back and forth with the Lennon, like his aunt bought it for him, and when they're in the bedroom sitting alone after they just got off the phone with Marcellus. In Django, like he has that moment where he's kind of like the throwaway character that makes it a symbolic scene. Because you get this moment where once Django gets the chance to kill the slavers at that point, and walk away with after freeing the slaves, the little group of them, we get that fiery light in that one guy's eye, that close up shot, seeing Django like reshed the cloak he's wearing, the cloth, and how he's like a hero again, and he's like this whole symbolic figure. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like I'm here for it. It's one of those things, man, where it's like I'm not in that situation. I've never written dialogue like that. I don't plan to, I at least like I respect him for like him doing it versus someone else doing it. Kind of like Taika Waititi playing Hitler in Jojo Rabbit. Like I don't know how comfortable I would be if I felt like my story needed that, and then I'm making someone else do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, it was justifiable for Django because of the time period. I mean, it took place during slavery, so it makes sense. But Pulp Fiction, I don't know.
No, yeah, especially in what 94 when it takes place.
I mean, I always like I haven't watched Pulp Fiction in a very long time, but to my memory, like when you have a character that you're writing that talks like that says these types of like heinous things, like to me it's what's important is the context of like that character in that scene, and like he's a guy they literally call to like clean up bodies.
Yeah.
For the like he is not a good person. The movie's not saying he's a good person.
Yeah.
It's a very particular thing, and like it is, you can definitely feel it's like I'm a funny white guy that can say this shit, and maybe you shouldn't have put it that much in there. It's like a little gratuitous because it's just like it's very edgy, it's over the top, and it might not work for everybody. And then of course, you have the in Django Unchained, he's literally playing like a white supremacist, and that obviously the whole movie's about how they're killing white supremacists all over the place, and Django's our our main character. It's an interesting and difficult thing like in film. Like I remember this also came up like with like Adam Driver in Black Klansman. Like he and he's a character who is pretending to be a white supremacist, so he has to say all these like heinous things, and
the defense it works because he's pretending.
Yeah.
We need to cover Black Klansman at some point.
Discourse online
really
of like, you shouldn't be allowed to say that. I'm like, what? It's it's acting. It's not real. Like it's
Yeah.
like yeah. I don't know, but
Which is a good point, but
mhm,
there's a limit.
Yeah.
there is, I believe. Yeah,
I don't know, dude.
But yeah, we should cover Black Klansman. Did we cover
that is
Django yet?
bad.
We haven't. No, we were saving. We haven't covered any Tarantino movies except from Dusk Till Dawn because we were gonna do like a whole director's knockdown at some point. We'll have to go to the schedule when we're coming up closer to 2026 and figure something out, dude. Because we need to cover some of those movies finally. We need to cover Return of the Jedi finally. We've been teasing that since Brendan Wayne was on last year, you know. So
You
I
guys
don't know.
haven't covered Return of the Jedi.
No, dude. We covered the Ewok movies though. We're still in that part of the timeline at least.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
wait, did we cover Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, with Brendan Wayne, dude. You were there.
Yeah.
Remember, this is when the Mandalorian
yeah,
said
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
that Star Wars was better than
Yeah.
Dune, right? And then he fucking.
I mean, yeah. I'm not gonna argue with that at all.
Yeah, but I don't
Did
know,
you guys
dude.
hear? This is a slight piece of news. Apparently, it was leaked that Disney is planning on finally releasing the original cuts of the Star Wars trilogy.
For the 50th
specialized-
anniversary, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if
and
that's
it's
gonna
be
happen, dude.
4K releases. Apparently, that was like a thing. Like that, some stuff that was like pre-uploaded onto YouTube got like leaked, and then people screenshotted it and saved it, and it was like a lot of like evidence that might be an announcement they're gonna make.
Hey.
I'm not gonna hold my breath. You know, I don't know the legal situation. I know that was a part of some of the deal with George Lucas giving Star Wars to Disney, was that they wouldn't be able to do that. So I don't know how stuff budged or if another deal was made. But I hope it's true because I think, as much as I respect George Lucas, I think it's insane that we don't have the original versions of these movies out there the way that like my parents watched it in the movie theaters. Like that's ridiculous.
I
That's
agree.
not out there. But
I agree, dude.
I will say that it is possible because Kathleen Kennedy held a screening for an
Yeah.
original IB Technicolor print of the first film, Star Wars from
That's
'77.
true.
Like, she held a screening for it. So it is possible. It's definitely possible. It's just that if they are going to do it for the 50th anniversary, they have no choice. It's only right to put out the original versions of the films because other than that, you're just wasting time and wasting people's money again and again and again and again.
I don't know,
Okay?
man.
Like,
As much as I'd love them, and I truly do would love to have like a nice little trilogy box set. I just don't think we're gonna get it, dude. I don't think we're gonna get like a physical proper release of them. Not the way that we've gotten like the Skywalker saga box set of the Death Star on it, or even the complete saga from years ago that had the Tatooine slipcover with Anakin and Luke kind of like phasing in and out, if you will. I just don't like how many times in this podcast have we discussed the release of the original trilogy in their pure versions? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. This is one of those things I feel like once a year at least we talk about. Are we going to get the unspecialized editions? Dakar, you've shown like a bootleg of like the original versions like 3 times in this podcast for this exact conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. As much as I'd love it, I think that if we
We'll believe it
do,
when we see it.
I believe it when we see it at this point, 100%. Like, and if we do see it, I think it's just gonna be a Disney Plus release. Like, I don't think it'll be a physical thing they do.
I would
Unfortunately,
hope at least a theatrical run.
I'd
would
like
make
that
sense.
too.
They're doing it for the 50th anniversary. I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense to you, to me, and probably to Kathleen Kennedy, dude. But as we discussed last week, fucking Bob Iger is gonna just shit on everything that's not making $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like,
The fans have been asking for this shit for years now. It's gonna make money. If it happens, it's going to make money. Fans have been asking for this shit for years.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. But one other thing I want to go ahead and
Come on,
talk about
man.
before we cut to break and go over our stream of the week is another thing that makes too much fucking money, and that is, of course, The Simpsons. Like I said last week on the podcast, this new season 37 is pretty great so far. Really enjoying it. I also enjoyed season 36 last year as well. But this week was the Treehouse of Horror, which was really fun, dude. We get this whole like I haven't seen this movie yet, but I remember seeing the previews and I walked into a couple screenings when I worked at Regal. But it felt like a Late Night with the Devil kind of parody that we're dealing with Krusty the Clown. We get also this great like post-apocalyptic utopia where everyone's like made out of plastic as well. So I don't know, man. Simpsons is back. We got a great Treehouse of Horror again. The season's trucking along. Last season ended strongly too. Simpsons is back. I'm here for it. And I don't know what they're doing differently, whether or not they just made their voice actors drink some tea before recording, or if every episode is just very, very heavily edited with the audio now. But like everyone sounds good again. Like Marge does not sound like she's like, I think, how old is the voice actress of Marge, dude? I don't want to be a dick. I love this show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Marge.
It's so old now. In general, you can't blame.
You can't, dude. Like,
You can't.
she is 75 years old at this point, still doing Marge Simpson for a weekly show with damn near 30 episodes every week. You know, props to her for keeping it going. I'm just happy they all sound good again. That's all I'm saying. If
That just what's I don't know, something crazy. You know, the Japanese voice actress for Goku. From Dragon Ball Z, she just turned like 80 something, I think.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And she's still voice acting, and as soon as Goku's in something else, she's gonna do it. And she's like, I will voice Goku until I die.
And you know what?
Like,
props to the Simpsons for doing that, dude. And I understand voices age, but it's just nice hearing. All right, we're gonna just take care of this a little bit. Excuse me. Just talking about taking care of ourselves, dude. Talk about the timing. But yeah, that's all I had to cover for other media this week. We're going to go ahead and cut to our break real quick and go over our stream of the week brought to you by none other than Naima. When we come back, we're going to go over the podcast poll and discuss our 2 films for the week and introduce our guest star. So we'll be right back, guys.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Our rating system is inspired by the planets from the Star Wars films. From highest to lowest, this is how we do our rankings. Number 5.
Coruscant. The entire planet is one big city.
Number 4.
Bespin. We're pretty far, but I think we can make it.
Number 3.
Hold me like you did by the lake on Naboo.
Number 2.
Set your course for the Hoth system.
And lastly, number 1.
Back to why does everyone want to go back to Jakku?
Hey everybody, it's Naima Saeed here with the stream of the week. I was actually supposed to be on the podcast episode this week, but fortunately, I am in rehearsals right now for Titus Andronicus, which is a bloody and gory show in and of itself that goes live on Halloween. But I love the Evil Dead franchise and of course the reboot and the new movies that they are making, so you'll definitely hear my thoughts on it in the future. But I will say one that you really need to go and watch is Evil Dead 2. Now, Evil Dead 2 is a technical remake of the first movie because the first movie tried to take a more serious approach, but obviously think about the time period, think about the practical effects that they were using, and then Sam Raimi was like, you know what, people took this more as a horror comedy, or more slapstick than anything, so might as well kind of just go with that. So that was the second movie, and then of course the third movie is beyond slapstick, as we all know, but the second film is where we get the iconic groovy and the boomstick, and that is just the Evil Dead that we all know and love. There's also a Evil Dead the Musical, which is phenomenal. And then, of course, the 2013 remake, which was perfect for what it was, being that serious horror that we really wanted to see for the franchise. And then there's these new Evil Dead movies that are coming out, and even a new one coming out, I believe, within the next year or so, which I'm very excited about. So, super excited to kind of see where that goes, and you guys will hear my thoughts in the future. Stay groovy.
All right, guys, we're back from our break. First off, before we even dive into the podcast poll this week or our films, we need to go ahead and introduce our very special guest star for this week. Making her Galaxy of Film podcast debut, we have none other than Shannon O'Grady. How's it going? Welcome on.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on Galaxy of Film podcast. This is so cool. You guys are awesome. Oh. Should I go ahead and just introduce myself?
Yeah, go for it, homegirl. Tell us all about you. Yes. How are you doing? Let us know everything about you. For real quick. For our listeners, you may not be familiar with her voice. However, if you're familiar with any of our films, Shannon is, of course, one of the leads of Pretty Hurts, and you'll see her again in a little project that we've been talking about nonstop on the podcast called Project News. So yeah, Shannon, take it away. Give us the whole spiel about yourself.
Sure. So I'm an actress based in North Carolina. I sing, I act, I do just a little bit of everything. And as Max mentioned, I've been in 2 Galaxy of Film productions at this point. I'm looking forward to doing more in the future. And I also work in healthcare. I do ultrasound as my day job, and then I use that as my financial stability to push me into doing projects that I love, things that inspire me. So I do a lot of theater, I do film, I just love to create. I'm truly just an artist at heart that loves to create. And I love that I get to be around a bunch of creatives that all they want to do is create, and all they want to do is talk about like their own ideas, which is awesome because we need more of that.
Absolutely.
We need to be more creative. We need to fuel our creativity, and we need to put it out there for the world to see. So this is awesome. I'm super excited. And we're going to be talking about Evil Dead.
Hell yeah, dude. You know it. I'm very pumped for this, Shannon. We've been trying to get you on here for a hot minute, dude. I was very, very pumped to even get you involved again with Project News after our experience on Pretty Hurts. And it's also funny, Will, because throughout this whole Monster Mayhem, we've talked like nonstop Pretty Hurts. Obviously acts of violence, like all of our horror stuff within Galaxy of Film has kept coming up. And here we go. We were ending it off. We got Shannon here from Pretty Hurts herself, dude. So yeah, it'll be a cool time for this one. And if, like you mentioned before, we're talking Evil Dead, specifically the sequel. And Shannon, you were in a little production called Evil Dead the Musical. So tell us a little bit about your experience of that one too, real quick.
So just so everybody knows, I did the musical before I ever saw the movies, which is super backwards, I know. Like, why would you not watch the movies before you actually do the musical? It's because I was asked to audition, and I was like, oh no, this is going to be my thing. But they said there was blood involved, and I said, I'm in. I used to work for With the Terror as a haunt actor, so I was just like, all right, let's go for it. Mm-hmm.
That explains it.
Yeah, that was the fun 3 years of scaring people and having fake blood on me and everything. So I was like, this is right up your alley. Just go do this. So I did it last year. I was Annie in Evil Dead, and the musical is ridiculous. It's campy. It's fun, and the entire second act, Annie does not leave the stage at all. So it was definitely a challenging role for me because I do a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, a lot of I did like a whole entire fight choreo scene before I had to sing this like big song.
Oh wow.
Like full out. And I have, God, they have a recording of it, but I haven't been able to watch it, and I'm trying to see if I can get permission to like get like a link because everything is private. But I wanted to do it this year and I didn't get to, but my girlfriend is doing her role again as good old reliable Jake, which she is absolutely fucking hilarious in, and I'm sad that you're gonna miss, but she just absolutely fucking kills it. I got to see it, let's see, I've seen it twice now since they started their run last week, and I'm going to see it again on Halloween night.
Oh wow, okay.
I love this show. I love this show. Have y'all ever like listened to any of the music from Evil Dead?
I have not
at all. No.
Mm-mm.
Anybody that's like into musicals on this chat here? No.
I mean, I'm somewhat into musicals. I'm not like the biggest. I'm not gonna leap at the opportunity to go see a musical, but I've been into them. You know,
sure. I would absolutely go see an Evil Dead musical. That is the type of musical.
Oh yeah, that sounds very interesting. Yeah.
I almost went to a Saw musical one time, but it was like too.
That sounds crazy. Yeah. Saw the musical. Damn. Now that's a movie series that I want to talk about with y'all. If you haven't done an episode about the Saw series, because I love Saw.
See, we were just talking about that again a couple days ago, dude. We gotta. you guys might to come back again for next Monster Mayhem. We'll figure some stuff out, dude.
Hey, Will, we also need to talk about Boxer's Omen.
Yeah, dude, you've mentioned keep going, Shannon. Tell us about Evil Dead the musical.
So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there is a YouTube recording of the closing performance of the off-Broadway production. So if you want to get an idea of the show, definitely watch that as a reference. Because the theater that we're in is a black box theater, it's really small. The first 4 or 5 rows of the theater is the splash zone. So anybody that purchases a ticket is going to get a poncho, and they're going to be sitting directly in a stream. There's cannons on the side of the stage.
Oh, hell
They've rigged it to these huge trash cans filled with fake blood.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Our lighting and tech designer is just an absolute genius at putting shit together, and he's able to control everything from the sound booth, so he can make the blood effects go on.
Oh, that's cool, dude.
Whenever. Yeah.
Talk about 4D.
So fun. Yeah, it's so fun. But the one thing I will say is that show was literally blood, sweat, and tears. I have a scar on my finger. It's healed now, but in order to protect us from slipping around on the stage too much, because it's slick, they put traction tape on the stage so that we'd have something to stand on. That shit is so coarse, and it literally took chunks of skin out of our fingers and our hands. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I had scrapes up and down my leg, bruises from being knocked around and falling, and the costume that I wore was in multiple pieces, because throughout the show Annie is ripping off pieces of her clothes until she's practically it's like Laura Croft, you know.
Oh yeah.
She's ripping off her shirt, and then her skirt, there's 2 skirts, so there was a skirt underneath another skirt, and there's a part where the skirt rips away, and then it's tatters, and it's supposed to be sexy, revealing, because she's very, very shy, very reserved, very naive little girl, but not anymore when she's around Ash and she's fighting deadites and reciting things from Necronomicon. So that was such a fun show, and I'm sad that I didn't get to do it this year, but if I was going to do it again, I would want to do Cheryl, Ash's sister. Cheryl I don't remember her in the movies at all.
I think she's in the first film. She's in the first movie. She's the one that first gets possessed, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So, in the musical, she stays in the basement the entire time. So there's a trap door in the stage.
Oh,
but she'll pop up periodically out of the basement, and then she's got this blood cannon that she just picks up and she sprays everybody with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
I could really visualize that. Just out of nowhere, just seeing her pop up, that'd be hilarious to see.
She'll literally just pop up, be like, "Dead by dawn." It's so funny. That's great, hilarious. But
maybe one day, Bruce Campbell or Sam Raimi will show up to one of these shows in the Splash Zone. That'd be awesome.
That would be insane. Actually, I think people would lose their shit. Specifically, this guy Wayne Leonard. He's a radio host, and he actually worked on the first set of Evil Dead with Sam, because it was shot in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so he knows Sam and he knows Bruce, and he's been to the show several times. So that would be really cool if we could get Bruce and Sam to come join us.
Gotta go ahead and make it happen, dude. There you go.
Dude. I remember hearing there was this one high school production of Alien, and it made the rounds,
I remember that
viral, and then Sigourney Weaver showed up,
Oh, that's sick, dude.
Yeah, I remember
That's
that.
crazy.
That is sick. Speaking of Alien,
cool.
for listeners, I still haven't watched Aliens. We're going to talk about that when I come back in November.
Oh yeah.
I know. I don't want to
You
keep
did
making
say you were
false promises, dude. It's been a hell of a fucking week. But yeah, we'll talk more Aliens at some point. But that's cool, man. I definitely got to see you in Evil Dead, the musical, at some point, Shannon. That's specifically the reason why I want to come out and see it. So let me know. I need to see you in all the roles several times. Cannot wait to see that and make it happen at some point, dude.
Oh, Max, you're so sweet.
But before we can even get to that point, we got to go ahead and dive into Evil Dead 2. And before we even do that, we got to go over the podcast, Boldakari. I know you're going to cover the fan club on Facebook this week and also Instagram. I'm going to go over the YouTube real quick. So yeah, straight up, we asked this week, which film is better, Return of the Living Dead or Evil Dead 2? 77% said Evil Dead 2 on YouTube, with 23 for Return of the Living Dead. Dakari, what are we looking at on the other platforms?
Okay, on Instagram, we have 7% saying Return of the Living Dead, and we have for Evil Dead 2, 93%.
Interesting. Okay. And how are we looking on the fan club, too?
We have what seems to be, I don't know, like, fuck it. Return of the Living Dead, 0%, Evil Dead 2, 100%.
Okay.
Nobody likes the Return of the Living Dead.
Okay, interesting, dude. Interesting. We'll dive into both of these, obviously, but let's go ahead and start talking about the first film, Evil Dead 2. Like I mentioned, we have discussed 2013 and Evil Dead Rise already, linked down below to that podcast. At some point, we'll discuss the first Evil Dead and also Army of Darkness as well. So stay tuned for that episode in the future. Let's go over everyone's backstories real quick on Evil Dead 2. Will, I'm gonna ask you up first one with this because you're the king of Monster Mayhem here. I'm assuming you grew up with Evil Dead, right?
So one of my early memories was like on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Okay.
Like I would just like watch whatever was on there, and I remember Army of Darkness.
Oh, okay.
And that was my first exposure to the Evil Dead franchise, and I just always remembered like Bruce Campbell dropping down from the sky, he gets picked up by knights, and he fights a demon in a well or something. He gets thrown into a hole and he has to fight this demon. And that terrified me when I was a kid, but it was also really cool and funny, and like there was always something like about his performance, like Bruce Campbell as Ash, that was always so iconic to me, just from that one little bit of the movie that I saw as a kid. So when I got a little bit older and started getting really into horror movies, one of those films that I really needed to get into was Evil Dead. And I think it was like, I was in high school, I think.
Okay.
And I remember it was all on like Netflix. And I watched the first Evil Dead and I was like, wow, that's insane. And at that point I had learned that was Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the director of the original Spider-Man trilogy, who also, like, I remember seeing Spider-Man 2 in theaters as, like, I don't know, a zygote. And I was petrified. I was petrified at the scene in Spider-Man 2 when Doc Ock wakes up and all the tentacles go around killing all the doctors in the hospital. And I was like, this is terrifying. And I know now, going in and watching Evil Dead 1 and 2, that's because this guy got his start in horror.
Yeah.
And he found this opportunity to do some scary shit in Spider-Man. And like seeing that, like where he got his start, how young he was. Like he was like 22 or something, 22, 25. Like when he made this film. Just him and like a couple of buddies. I mean, Bruce Campbell was like literally just like his friend, and that he just got to beat the shit out of on camera for God knows how long. And it like, yeah, the first Evil Dead I thought was amazing, even though that's a little bit more serious, and then two like right after, and I was blown away, just completely. Just blown away by how hilarious the movie is. Every scene, there's something there that I'm just cackling over. I love the direction, the editing. It's just so chaotic and insane, and it never stops. from the first like 2 minutes of the movie, and then it's just this nonstop like roller coaster ride of demons and blood and guts and ridiculousness. And hammy acting. I love Bruce Campbell and in these films, especially the second one, where literally half the movie is just him by himself. He carries this movie.
Yeah.
For so long. Those are the best sequences, is when it's just him by himself, completely losing his mind. And that just really left like a huge impact on me. And now the Evil Dead franchise is like one of my all-time favorite horror franchises. I believe that even though like I am a little bit lower on my opinions of Army of Darkness than most people are, I do think that there are no bad Evil Dead movies. Like most any other horror franchise, there is a bad batch of films.
Yeah.
They always end up getting like a couple of them that were total dog shit. I think even if you don't love a certain Evil Dead movie, I think you can sit down at the end of the day and go, that was still like a good movie. Like they did something there that's like respectable. And yeah, that's just something I think it's a testament to this franchise and how awesome, like that, just lightning in a bottle, Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and his whole team of special effects guys and in the 80s, you know.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah. For me, I got the first Evil Dead on 4K whenever that kind of had a re-release in like 2018, 2019, when I was really diving into a lot of physical media collecting for movies. And I didn't pick up the sequel right away because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, yada yada. I took forever to watch the first film too. So by the time I even wanted to get the sequel, it was long sold out. It wasn't in like the Walmart or Best Buy rotation kind of thing. Sat down and watched the first film. I think at like an ex house by myself, to be honest. Like she went off to work. I sat there and watched it, and I was just blown away by it completely. Like we've already mentioned before, it was basically a student project, very amateur, techniques of this film. But like, to me, this was one of the movies that inspired me to hit up Dakari, hit up Danilo. You guys want to start a podcast and talk about shit like this, dude? Like, this was the first Evil Dead movie, more than any of them in the series, I'd say too, just bleeds out like the love of filmmaking in general. Mm-hmm. And so when I had the chance to finally get Evil Dead 2, I think it was either right before or right after we started the podcast. Because like I remember going to Walmart, I got ID'd to buy it, which is the only time I've been ID'd to buy a movie physically. Yeah, like any other rated R film, I'm never ID'd. But Evil Dead 2, they had to come check, and the lady did like a full double take, lifted up to like compare it. It was fucking weird, dude. I'll never forget that. Okay. And I went home and I popped it in, and I remember like, all right, like I had some popcorn going as I sat down to watch it. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna find a good stopping point, because like I'm a weirdo when it comes to my microwave popcorn. I like it to sit a bit, dude. I don't want to fucking get the gross fake butter all over my hands and shit. Let it sit and coat in that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm gonna find a good stopping point. I'm gonna grab the popcorn. I'm gonna grab a drink at that point too. Yeah, that stopping point was the end of the movie, dude. Like for the full hour and like 24 minutes, I was just like waiting for, all right, we're gonna get this. No, this movie completely locked me in. It was just like an absolute pleasure, because like I had such a strong feeling watching the first one. Made me want to start this whole thing of these guys that's now grown into our own independent production company. And then as we're in, that was part of the foundation, right? And then we're to the point where like we're getting ready to build the baseboards, if you will. And then I finally dive into the sequel, and it's just this nice, really pure experience for me. It was just great, dude. Like I look back on those first rewatches really fondly, to be honest. Yeah, they're really, really solid. And we'll dive into in just a second. But Dakari, what is your history with the Evil Dead films?
Up until this point, I never really had a history with them.
All right, sick one. Very descriptive.
Yeah, but you said you watched the first one the other day, so
I know. I'm just giving shit.
People would like, especially film enthusiasts, would reference these movies all the time, and I would see clips, bits and pieces of them on the internet. growing up, and I was just like, why do people keep talking about Evil Dead? And I found out, oh, this is a Sam Raimi movie. This is Sam Raimi's like first movie.
Yeah,
Okay,
dude.
so he was doing horror, which makes sense because like you were alluding to, Will. It made me think about that scene in Spider-Man 2 with Doc Ock and the tentacles and whatnot. Yeah, so it makes sense. Like this, the scene in the hospital where he was attacking all the doctors with his tentacles. It definitely came straight out of a horror film, so it made sense. So, okay, I finally watched these, literally the first two movies. The first two movies I watched, the first Evil Dead, and I watched Evil Dead 2. Yeah, I can see why. I can see why these movies are respected so much because these are like two of the first films to actually have the balls and the audacity and the ambition to make campy horror to the max. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about 1981. This is during like the slasher era, proto
Hmm.
slasher era, right after Halloween came to fruition, right? So you talking about Evil Dead? It's just like, yo, what the hell is this shit? And people saw it, and it's just like, yo, we gotta release this and bring it out to the world. It's like when I was watching the first Evil Dead, it's just like, yo, to think that this was a fucking student film is just insanely inspirational to me. Insanely. Like, first Evil Dead is like guerrilla style filmmaking at its most ambitious and relentless. Like the wide angle lenses, the dangerous, the dangerous, tension filled, tracking shots throughout the film. You got the crazy body
Hmm.
horror special effects near the end.
Hmm.
Bruce Campbell going all out. Uh, I mean, the first Evil Dead is just magical filmmaking, despite the fact that Ash is the only smart character in the movie. Everybody else is just a bunch. Everybody else is just a bunch of fucking dumbasses, you know.
Hmm.
But Evil Dead 2, I think honestly, if that was supposed to be like a redo of what was done in Evil Dead on a larger scale, then I feel like Sam Raimi succeeded because not only is it a solid retread of that original film, but it also serves as a worthy follow up to the first film because it expands on the lore a lot more. It's a lot more gritty and it feels more comfortable in the camp this time around. Like the crazy one liner when Ash finally gets the chainsaw in his hand and the shotgun, he says groovy. I was just like, oh, this is the shit. This is the shit. Like Evil Dead 2 actually got me like I wouldn't say excited, but it was it got me more invested into what the iconography um what we look at as iconography in horror films these days, specifically horror films like Evil Dead.
Hmm.
There's a reason, like I said, there's a reason why these movies are talked about so much. Evil Dead 2 works a little bit more for me, not just because it expands on the lore, but it is a little more contained. And there's a lot less residue when it comes to characters because it is a little bit more contained. You get some business with certain characters in the long run, but see, at the end of the day, Ash takes care of it all pretty much. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed watching these movies, and especially the second Evil Dead movie. I mean, I tons of fun, and I see why people respect these movies so much, for sure.
I hear you, dude. Absolutely agree. Shannon, I know you mentioned earlier you had watched these kind of after you performed in Evil Dead the musical, which is just
Hmm.
incredible. That's such a Tim Burton thing.
No, I did actually recently watch Evil Dead 2 with some friends that are in the show as
Oh, cool.
well. We got together one night, and we just decided, you know what? We need to actually watch the movie because they had seen it. My
Hmm.
my friends Paul and Lauren. Paul is really into film, and I mean the two of them have a freaking library. I mean, I would probably be like, "Hey, let me borrow that movie right there. I'll bring it back, I promise." But they have like the box collection of Evil Dead, Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, and then the Ash versus Evil Dead TV show, which
Hmm.
I think is awesome. But compared to the first Evil Dead, yes, I agree that the story was it's a bit more fleshed out. The details were a little more concrete. As the first one kind of gives you a glimpse into the lore, but
Kind of.
you could tell that there wasn't a lot to go off of. But again, for that to be a student film and to be his first film, fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm.
There are some scenes that still stand out to me very much, like the very end when it like the shot tracks up to his face and he screams. I still think that that's one of the coolest scenes
so
ever.
good, dude.
But any of
That's
the
some
tracking
Spider-Man
shots
shit.
through the woods, any of the tracking shots through the woods,
It's
creepy.
like some guy on a
Just
fucking
creepy.
like bike or something, like with the camera, isn't it? Like
I was gonna say,
it's so
did they have, like,
dangerous.
a
I
rig?
think so.
Yeah.
They have like a rig. They're running around with it, and like the camera's shaking back and forth, and it's just it's like something is coming to get you. It's coming to get you. It's scary. And I love the practical effects, the makeup, the blood,
Mm-hmm.
all of it. Like I don't know how much money did y'all have to do all of these practical effects? That's what I want to know.
Especially for the first one. The first one,
Right.
man.
Remember that pencil
Crazy.
to the ankle? That shot?
Oh
Yeah,
god, dude.
and that's actually referenced in the musical, the pencil to the ankle.
Awesome.
And Linda's head getting chopped off with the chainsaw, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple of other things in there too. Oh, Evil Dead 2. We introduced Jake and Bobby Joe.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, they did not put Bobby Joe in the musical.
Oh, interesting.
So a lot of
really?
and I did think that was interesting because I noticed in Evil Dead 2, Jake doesn't really say much. Bobby Joe is the one that talks the most between the two of them. And we sat there and we're watching, we're like, why wasn't Bobby Joe in the musical? But Jake in the musical makes a reference, or he says that he was supposed to be with his wife, but with Cheryl from the first movie getting attacked by the trees, he thinks that it's a bit redundant to have Bobby Joe in the musical because she also gets attacked by the trees. One of his lines in the musical are the lines that Bobby Joe says in the movie. So it's just it's just weird. It's combining the two of them. Maybe it was for the sake of having a lot of people on stage or whatever, but I think I like the first one more. Honestly.
Okay.
I think I like the first one more because it's an experiment.
Okay.
Into like it's an experiment into horror, but like going a bit more ridiculous with it. And especially because of like the timing of when this movie was released. Yes, we had like the slasher films, and like the slasher films I know were supposed to be a bit more serious, and now when we watch them we're just like this is just ridiculous, but it's fun to watch. So not that I don't like Evil Dead 2. I do like Evil Dead 2, and I think that it's great, it's campy, it's fun. But if we're going to talk about just like the way that the films are shot, I really like the first one compared to the second one.
That's fair, dude.
But I do love how they fleshed out the story of Evil Dead 2, and they included some more characters to kind of push the narrative and to help Ash as the catalyst through like all of this to be the savior in the end. And the groovy line is so fucking iconic. I also love how they leave you hanging at the end, and then like he's taken through that like portal, like they open up the portal, and then he gets thrown into the kingdom of Kandar, and that's where it ends. And it leaves you hanging like, what the hell happened? This year's production did actually reference to that. So
that's cool.
Last year we didn't do that. I don't know why we didn't do that. Actually, I do know why we didn't do that last year, but that's a whole other story. So, this year, Steven Malaga directed. Steven's been Ash several times in the musical, and he loves Evil Dead. Loves everything about it. So of course he wanted to have the reference to Ash being pulled into that portal and taken to Kandar at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So they choreographed it so that like it looked like everybody was being pulled away, and then Ash gets sucked into it and he's like, wait, no.
That's so
That's
cool,
where it ends.
dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
This show, this movie series, like after like actually getting into watching more of the Evil Dead stuff, I was like, I really am into like horror films more than I know. And I wanted to watch even more of like the old horror, like I watched all of the Freddy movies, all of Jason. Trying to think of the other ones that I've watched. I haven't watched all the Scream movies, but I do like Scream. The first one is great.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely need to watch Army of Darkness next. I've seen clips from it.
Sure.
Just haven't sat and watched the whole thing. But I know that one is absolutely like top tier, like campy, comedic horror.
No, absolutely.
And Bruce is a fantastic actor. He's a great comedic actor. Even in his old age now, when he did Ash vs. Evil Dead, that was only a few years ago when they released that on Netflix. Still an amazing comedic actor to this day. But yeah, I think that it's brilliant. It's done so well. And I really need to look into more of where the inspiration came from for the movie in the first place. Because I don't know, like, was there a film before that might have been an inspiration for?
Well, I do know that he. I remember I had the special features I was watching a couple years back on both the films, and there were like kind of proof of concept films that he had done, Sam Raimi, even before this. Like before even the first Evil Dead, there was like even an earlier like kind of short film version of it, where was the friends go out into the cabin in the woods, they get attacked by the demons, and like the makeup is even like it's clearly much shoddier, less like work being put into the makeup and stuff, but you could see like the DNA there. And I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, there is even a separate short film where it's like about like somebody having to fight a hand. I think it was like do you remember?
Oh,
it was like there was like an old like character that was like in like a lot of commercials, and it was like a glove with a face on it.
The Hamburger Helper?
I think I'm almost positive. It like Sam Raimi made like a short film about the Hamburger Helper like going crazy, and like you have to fight it or something. I maybe I'm Mandela affecting this, but I am positive that was like an early version of that concept that he ended up putting into Evil Dead 2.
That's great.
Look it up.
If it's not real,
I feel like I remember that.
If it's not real, then I need you making that film. Is what I fucking need. I've
had too many drinks tonight, and I just made it up.
What I need specifically is like you making a film about Sam Raimi going to the Hamburger Helper, or something like that, dude. Funny. Oh my god! There's just so much love that goes into this series. Like the Evil Dead movies are the ones that make me respect the craft and the art of horror filmmaking itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just did that big, independent filmmaking roundtable where a bunch of horror filmmakers came together talking about their projects. And, like Evil Dead is kind of the foundation for that. I feel like for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's not the inspiration and the dedication that fans have and respect have for that film is not unwarranted. You know what I'm saying? Like, Evil Dead deserves its title and its ranking amongst horror for sure. Let's kind of go and dive what we like about it specifically before we talk about our ratings and wrap up for Evil Dead 2. One thing we haven't talked about too much in this one, and I kind of guess we'll dive into this conversation a bit more with Return of the Living Dead, is the fact that like this movie is a weird remake, reboot. Like, if we had the money, this is what it would have been like, kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, this movie is its own pocket within cinema at the same time, which is really, really cool. And of course, that's why we're pairing it with Return of the Living Dead, because it's also kind of the same thing too. But yeah, like with Evil Dead 2, what's really is this? Oh my god!
Attack of the Helping Hand. So it wasn't directed by Sam Raimi, but he was in it. Sam Raimi started it with Bruce Campbell. Yep.
Wow.
I didn't make that up. I knew it.
God damn it! Now you can't
that
shoot
is
it, Will.
Insane.
But yeah, like Evil Dead 2 is really smart as well, because like a lot of this for the first 50 minutes or so, it's almost stuff we've exactly seen in the last film, just done better or done slightly differently, to where it becomes more interesting, or at least has your attention in a way to where you're not immediately brought back to the first film. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, Evil Dead 2, dude, is not only a smart film, but it manages to capture the lightning in the bottle twice, which is really rare for both the series, and it's also really rare for literally just doing the exact same thing over again the next time you do it. You know, I don't know. I have a really big respect and love for Evil Dead 2. Will, I want to hear some of your thoughts overall on this film. I know you picked this for very specific reasons. Let's hear some of that come out of this.
So I remember the exact nanosecond the first time I watched the movie that I fell in love with it, and I knew that this was going to be an all-timer.
Okay.
And it's about like 15 minutes into the movie. They just did like the whole kind of like recap remake of the first film, but they simplify it down to just him and his girlfriend instead of him and all of his friends. And he ends up cutting off his demonically possessed girlfriend's head, and then she comes back to life as this crazy stop motion character. And then he thinks it's a dream, wakes up. Then her head is on his lap. It bites his hand, and then he goes, this very obvious ADR line of him going, "Work shed," and then he runs over the work shed. And this moment where he runs in there, he puts her head into the clamp, and he goes, "Chainsaw," and then he opens up to where the chainsaw should be, and it's just a fucking empty outline of the chainsaw of where it should be. And then the next frame is just this animatronic, just body of her lower half of her body of the zombified dead corpse holding the chainsaw, just busts in through the door and starts trying to kill him with it. And then he knocks it back, and then the chainsaw ends up hitting the zombie body, and the blood splatters everywhere and covers the light. And so now all the lighting in the room turns red, and that moment killed me. I loved that the joke, one of the funniest scenes in a movie ever, in my opinion.
Will,
I mean,
I got to tell you something. That is also referenced in the musical, so you would love it even more.
I would love to see that music. The musical.
Just look it up on YouTube. Look for the off-Broadway production. It is literally the entire thing. But that is, and Linda's line is, "My body will get you. You always said I had a killer body."
Yes,
it's so good, dude. Oh my god!
It's just that one scene is so emblematic of what makes Sam Raimi such a gifted, incredible director. The slapstick humor, the complete absurdity of the situation, the visual gags, sight gags, out of a Zucker film from like Naked Gun or something like that, with a little a goofy Tom and Jerry level, this is where the outline of where the chainsaw should be, and then these very sudden, it's not a build up really, it's just a one moment you go, where's the chainsaw, and then an immediate payoff of now he thought he was in control, but the stakes are actually completely swapped instantly, and it's just it's a masterclass of a scene. The way you could just break that down, just the way it works like a full joke. I don't know. I love that scene to death, and that is what locked me in the first time I was watching it, because like I know I'm in for an insane ride for the rest of this movie, and I was correct, because it just keeps upping the ante. It introduces the fact that now his hand is going to get possessed, and you have this amazing slapstick scene where it's just Bruce Campbell smashing like dishes over his head, and he's doing flips, and then and the body acting that he does in that scene, and when he's like pretending to be knocked out, and then his hand is like dragging himself, obviously accompanied by like hilarious like voiceover sounds of like his hand going like, like and like when it like looks over and it sees the butcher knife, and it does like a stop, like as if it's like a cat or something going into like it's noticing something.
Yeah.
And the camera just like pans over, and you see like literally with a spotlight on it, like the butcher knife. Like there's just something to Sam Raimi's like visual storytelling that is so sporadic and on the nose with everything. It's shoving it in your face like at all times, but it just makes it so funny and absurd. And then of course, like, right after that moment, who's laughing now? And then he starts cutting off his arm. I mean, just incredible. Bruce Campbell, man, like just awesome. Just like, I don't even know, like I don't have any more words. Like I'm running out of words to describe. That's one of my favorite scenes also, just like him like completely losing his mind. Because in the first film, like he's not losing his mind, like he's trying to keep it together, and he's he's just the final guy in that movie. But it's this one where it's like he has been tortured, just completely tortured, and his way of coping with it is just to like almost like to laugh along. At this point, and you see him losing his mind, and there's so many creative moments, like the mirror scene always gets me too, because it's like that body double, whoever it is, that's like they're faking you out, the fact that it's like actually not a real mirror, and just every time he lunges out of the mirror and grabs himself, like that always gets me. There's just like I can't imagine what it was like sitting down and writing that movie and coming up with each and every sentence, and just being a fly in the wall for that, like just how I am imagining them cackling and laughing as they're like, all right, and then he's gonna shoot the wall with the shotgun, and then he's gonna think that the hand's dead, but then it's actually just gonna start shooting out just hundreds of gallons of blood at him in his face, just to like make fun of him, just to put him down as much as he can. And yeah, the practical effects in this, the creature designs, they're so gnarly. They're just like the one guy when he gets like hit in the head or whatever, and then he comes up, and he's like floating in the air, and he like rips off like a piece of the girl's like hair as he's eating it or whatever. His face is insane, like a total step up from the previous film, where it was mostly just kind of like taking people's face with makeup. Well, this was like a real prosthetic, a solid latex kind of thing, where the face is all distorted. Like at that point, it's not just like a zombie; it's a monster. And later we get that with Henrietta, where she becomes this freaking crazy like Brontosaurus like giant neck monster. I don't know who came up with that design, but like they need an award, because that's also just a whole iconic scene.
That was crazy. That was crazy. And the face on the makeup that they did for Henrietta, wild. Just
also, if you guys don't know, the actor who played Henrietta is also Sam Raimi's brother.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's hilarious. Ted Raimi?
Yeah.
That's funny, dude.
I remember seeing some like behind the scenes footage of him, and he's just like, I fucking hate this. Like, cause it's like really hot. He's in like 200 pounds of latex.
Yeah.
He's just trying to get through the shoot. He's like hanging on wires, like 10 feet in the air. And like, you gotta feel like every time I watch this movie now, I know he is suffering like in that suit, but damn it, it is an amazing performance. He's hilarious. Yeah, I could literally gush about every single scene in this movie. Like if I was like a film teacher, I would be that annoying film teacher that would just like every 20 seconds I'd be pausing this movie just to say something about like a camera movement or look at how cool this set is or how like this joke lands so fucking hard. I mean, he puts the bucket over his hand and then the top book on there is, you know, a farewell to arms.
So good, dude.
Gets me every fucking time. It's such a stupid joke, but I fucking love it.
It's great though. It's fantastic.
Oh my god. Will, come teach in my fucking school, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
Yeah. Let's move into our final comments and ratings for Evil Dead 2. Dakari, I'm putting you up first for this one, dude. I'm really curious to hear where you're at with this. I know you know, I've just recently watched these films and don't have too much nostalgia for them necessarily. So where are you at with Evil Dead 2?
Yeah, I loved it. I really, really, really enjoyed watching these movies specifically together, like back to back, because you know, without having prior knowledge of what Evil Dead 2 was, I just went ahead and watched the first one because, you know, I knew it was a series, so I'm just like, okay, why would I watch? Just common sense, like, why would I watch Evil Dead 2 instead of watch Evil Dead 1? So I just watched both of them, and I really enjoyed them. Even if the second one is like pretty much a retread of the first, I feel like the second one did so much more in establishing iconography and world building and lore, a lot more than the first film. And that's what I appreciated more. That's what I appreciated the most about Evil Dead 2. It wasn't just a reset or like a remake of the first. There was actually more to it than that, you know. And I definitely appreciated that more with this second film. It is campier. It is funnier. It is bloodier at times. Bruce Campbell is even more Bruce Campbell than he's ever been. I mean, shit, man, there's a lot to this movie to really appreciate and really respect. Um, yeah, this is something, and I'm not even the biggest horror fan. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but this movie's definitely something I'm gonna go back and watch multiple different times for sure. Yeah, rating, I'll give this a best pin on the way to Coruscant.
Okay, dude. Okay. For me, man, this is a straight Coruscant. I've loved this movie ever since I watched it for the first time. And they kind of echo what you're saying, Dakari, too. Like, horror is often the genre I feel not necessarily unwelcome in, but just kind of out of place. You know, like I haven't seen every horror franchise in the world. I know Naima still pissed me for not seeing any of the Scream movies, or I know what you did last summer, you know, and I just watched all the Final Destination movies, and I know it's a whole process.
Oh, me too, dude. Me too.
Thank you.
Oh, that's crazy.
Myself. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just the genre where, like, you know, as much as I love everyone who's involved with horror and love being there and to talk with them about it, like when I'm at Gracie and Carter's house and everyone's talking about this obscure horror movie that like I've never heard of, that's on a VHS tape somewhere, and everyone in the room has seen it, and I'm like, yo, I can talk Star Wars all day. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting for that part of the conversation. I just feel out of place sometimes with it. And Evil Dead is one of those movies where, like, this makes me feel welcome into the genre, truly. Like, it is a perfect entryway point for horror comedy. Echoing what everyone said about Bruce Campbell's performance, it's incredible, dude. And I know that throughout this Monster Mayhem as well, Jeffrey Reddick, the creator of Final Destination, he was kind of talking about how he wanted Devon Sawa to be like the final guy of Final Destination, because that kind of wasn't there in horror. Bruce Campbell, Ash, is like the final guy, dude, and he's fucking solid.
Yeah.
You know, like, while Laurie Strode is our badass eventually, of course, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and we get this wonderful performance to all these films, and we get these different arcs with her throughout these different timelines, and that's convoluted and all that and all shit. But like, Ash has just been consistently both great. He's been funny throughout the entirety of this, and like his character just feels pure. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like Ash is just some asshole who's having sex in the woods waiting to get slashed by the killer. You know what I'm saying? Like, we may not get a ton of depth to this character, but he's still likable. and really fucking likable throughout all these films. I don't know. Evil Dead 2 is just incredibly solid. It's a Coruscant and probably always will be for me, dude. I love this one. I think this movie best represents this franchise as well, too. Shannon, what are your final comments and ratings on Evil Dead 2?
My rating is Coruscant.
Oh, hell yeah.
Even though I do like the first one more in terms of the comedy and the campiness of it, I would definitely give it Coruscant. Also, I love the rating system, by the way. This is like better than a 1 through 5. Like this is cool.
Thank you.
So I mean, I don't really know what else to say because I think Will, Bakari, y'all both said everything about it. And I mean, after watching it for the first time not that long ago, I have to agree. Like a lot of the practical effects in some of the shots, and especially the jokes being as like on point as they are, that's what makes that film really special. And the you saying Max saying that it's like catching lightning in a bottle twice. It truly is because when I looked at it and I watched the trailer for it, I was like, why did they remake it? Why would you do the same thing over again? It's different now because you've added more not plot devices, but you've added more depth to the lore of this story that you've created. So now things are starting to make more sense. So now when you go from Evil Dead 2 into Army of Darkness, now you already have a foundation where the Necronomicon came from, how the evil spirit came to be in this universe, and how they're going to stop it. So it's nice to have finally watched Evil Dead 2 and picked up some of the references from the musical, like in the movie, knowing it's the other way around. And a lot of the stuff that is in Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness is all referenced in the musical, especially the scene with Ash in the hand and like that fight scene.
Oh, I imagine, dude. I can't wait.
So I actually, while I was sitting here and I was listening to y'all, I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and pull up the link and put it in the chat so that y'all can go and watch it. I'm promising you it is worth your time. It is so fucking funny. And the off-Broadway production was done really, really well. I really want more theaters to try and do Evil Dead if they can. The problem is with like the blood. Some places are like, we couldn't do that because it would stain everything. That I say, just cover it in plastic. It's fine. It'll come out. Just cover it in plastic. That's what they did. They saran wrap all of the chairs so that none of the blood gets on the chairs. But as somebody that's a fan of the musical and now a fan of the movies, I'm definitely somebody that wants to watch them like serially every Halloween.
Hell yeah.
Because they're that good. They're that good.
Yeah, I watch Evil Dead 2 or Evil Dead 1 every Halloween.
As you should. They're great movies.
Perfect spooky kind of feel, you know?
I agree, dude. I love Will. Tell us your rating for this one. You're at it too, man.
Coruscant. I mean, it's, to me, this is an all-timer. It's one of the greatest horror movies ever made. Now, in comparison to the original, it really, sometimes I watch the first one and I go, I think I like this one a little bit more. And then sometimes, like, then the next time I watched Evil Dead 2, I go, maybe I like this one a little bit more. And then it just happens each time I cycle through them that I like that one. Whichever one is the one I've seen the most recently is the one that I like the most of the two. They're that good because I love the grittiness of the first one and seeing just how painstaking it must have been to make that movie. I just have so much respect for everything that had to go behind the camera in order to make that first film work as well as it did. And the second one, it's just so big in terms of like the swings that it takes, and every individual set piece is incredible, and it just ups the ante in every way. It establishes this lore that every single iteration, every single sequel and TV show has expanded on the little bits that were introduced here. Um, like this is just going to be a movie that I'm going to be rewatching for the rest of my life. I love it so much. It is, it's got everything that I could possibly want in it. Just incredible comedy, unbelievable direction and cinematography, camera work. I forgot to mention one of my other favorite scenes. It's something that I put in the intro to Monster Mayhem. It's the laughing scene where everything in the room just starts laughing at him, and he's dancing up and down with like the lamppost as it's like moving. And that scene, also watching that for the first time, it just blew my mind. Like I've never seen like a house come alive before, and it's just watching Ash just completely lose his mind is one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen put to film. So I slipped that audio of that scene into the intro for Monster Mayhem because I was like, that's an amazing like clip. But yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Like I said, I love Evil Dead, and I can't wait for the next movie as well, because I love all these movies.
Yeah, dude, and of course we'll be discussing Burn whenever it comes out eventually. I know I was trying to get him on for this episode. Drake, dude, he's a good friend of the podcast, one of my best friends. He was on for our last Evil Dead episode. He was just couldn't make it on scheduling purposes for this one, but he's a huge fanatic for this franchise, dude. So I know whenever that comes out, it's gotta link up with Caleb and Drake. Go watch that like day one in theaters, dude. We were there for Rise, loved it. I don't know. This is one of those franchises where it's like, I thankfully we're not in a position where we're beating the death. You know, we're not getting annual Saw releases like with Evil Dead.
Yeah. No.
But like you mentioned earlier, Will, like every one of these is a respectable, solid movie, genuinely. So like, fuck it, dude. Give me 10 more of them. I don't want them every one a year, but like,
yeah,
you know, I'm cool with this franchise never necessarily like never dying, you know. And I'm also kind of glad we're to a point where we're like stepping away from the Ash stuff. I know we had this continuation with the TV show, obviously, but I just like that this concept of the Evil Dead expands beyond the small scope of our final boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a great pairing. We're gonna go ahead and get ready to cut to another break in a second to go over our next film, just because Shannon hasn't had a chance to see it. We don't want her to be spoiled because it is fun as hell, dude. Like, this is a great pairing, Will.
I'm gonna definitely watch it. Like, and I'll let y'all know my thoughts once I finish it for sure.
Hell yeah,
but
yeah, definitely.
Y'all have fun with that segment, because I definitely don't want to be like.
Oh man.
No, you're totally good. But Shannon, it has been an absolute pleasure getting you on here finally, like genuinely, and thank you for being our final guest star of this year's Monster Mayhem as well, dude. So such a great note to end on, Will. Like this overall, like I said, like I think this pairing alone is not only one of the best thing we've done in Monster Mayhem so far, but like in our usual weird galaxy of film pairings, this is one of my favorite, dude. This goes up there with like doing No Country for Old Men and The Seventh Seal. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a clever one.
Okay.
But
yeah, thank you so much, Shannon, for coming on, because I really loved like hearing you talk about the musical. I love that you have that like kind of personal connection to this franchise and coming at it from a completely different perspective. I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on and telling us all about that. And I can't wait to check it out.
Thank y'all so much. I hope you enjoy watching the version on YouTube. And if you have a chance to come see the musical, I know this weekend is the last weekend of their run, but they literally do it every year. So you may see me pop up as Cheryl from the basement next year. Who knows?
Yeah, you'll see me pop up in the audience if that's the case, dude. Jeez.
Yeah. Yes.
And Shannon, before you go, where can our listeners find you online as well?
So you can find me on Instagram at Shannon Acts, ACTS. I'm also on Facebook, but I'm kind of private. Okay. Most of my stuff that I post is on my Instagram. I usually post a lot of my film stuff on there, and promote anything that my friends are doing. So feel free to check me out there. And that's about all of the active social media that I have right now. So
there you go.
Yeah. I hope y'all come check me out.
Absolutely. And check out Pretty Hurts if you guys haven't already. I know it's a film released a year ago as of this Halloween, which is nuts. The time has flown by this much. But yeah, like I said, Shannon's leading that film. She's also making an appearance in a little film called Project News, working title. But yeah, I can't wait for everyone to see that film. You know, you absolutely rocked it in Pretty Hurts, dude. And I'm so glad to get you on for this podcast, especially. So yeah, Will, I think it's going to go ahead and wrap it up for our Evil Dead 2 section. We're going to go ahead and take a quick little break, guys. Don't worry, no stream of the week or any of that kind of bullshit for this little break segment. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and dive straight into Return of the Living Dead. So we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, and we're back from our break. Let's go ahead and dive straight into Return of the Living Dead. This was a first-time watch for me personally. I'm really curious to hear about Will's perspective on this. But I will go ahead and say I did have a little bit of history of watching Night of the Living Dead, which is, of course, kind of tied to Return of the Living Dead. Funny enough, I think I watched Night of the Living Dead like for the first time, like either right before or right after my first time watching Evil Dead. Now that I think about it, like it was in that same like weekend of me just like at the house watching a couple horror films.
Honestly, same for me too, because it was like I'm trying to delve into like all the the historically like classic films that you want to catch up on. So around that same period, I had also watched like Evil Dead and Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, cool. Okay. So I'm assuming Return of the Living Dead was kind of thrown in that bunch then for you.
That was a little. Yeah, actually, honestly. Yeah, it was around that same period of time, too, like that high school time where I was just diving deep into horror, trying to find as much as I can.
Cool.
Vic, sorry I interrupted you. But...
No, you're good. No, that's what I was about to ask you, dude, so you're good. Yeah. And Dakari, what about you? Was this a first-time watch for you, or is this something you've been watching since you were a wee little lad?
First-time watch, man. First-time watch.
Okay, dude. Perfect. Now, Will, I'm going to...
What turned me on to this movie specifically, I'm sure was what you were going to ask, is I'm sure we've talked about this already.
Okay.
It's partially a bit of like the inspiration for the title of Monster Mayhem. It's Cinemassacre's Monster Mayhem, or Monster Madness, rather. James Rolfe, obviously the angry video game nerd, he had done like a whole series where he would just go into the history of horror, and that was kind of my launch pad for what movies should I go back and watch. And I always remembered when he had done a video covering Return of the Living Dead, I was like, this one looks different.
Yeah.
For some reason this one looks really good, and I didn't know why, but it gave me the same feeling that I got from like watching his videos on like other classic films like the Evil Dead movies or whatever. So I went out and found this one to watch, and then that's
hell yeah, dude.
This conversation.
Thank you for bringing up Monster Madness, dude. I love James Rolfe. Love Cinemassacre. I was heartbroken to find out James Rolfe wasn't at the convention I was just at, dude. I met like Pat the NES punk at least. That was dope, but I digress. Will, I wanted you to go ahead and give us a brief, like 1 minute recap breakdown as to what the fuck this little movie is.
Yeah, so basically this movie, it does something. This was the reason why I wanted these movies to be paired, because they're weirdly similar in the way that they open. Where this movie reestablishes the idea that, for context, we get introduced to our main character, whose name is Freddy. He just got he's this young, teenager or whatever. He just got this job working at I don't even know what you would, I guess it's not the morgue, but it's next to the morgue. And they get shipments of like corpses of humans and animals, and it's usually they prepare them and send them out for science or whatever, for study. And the guy who's the manager who's teaching him the ropes, he's like, oh, by the way, did you know Night of the Living Dead, the movie, is based on a real story? And so we find out in this universe that the movie exists, Night of the Living Dead, but it's based on this true story where they just changed some of the things around in it, where it was a toxic waste dump, soaked into the graveyard, awakening some zombies, and they had to corral them together and throw them in some bins, and that was the only way they could defeat them. And so one of these bins ends up at this facility that they're in, and this manager goes downstairs with the kid, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you want to see this? Isn't this so cool?" And the kid asks like, "Oh, do these canisters leak? You know, these canisters with the dead corpses of like reanimated bodies?" And the guy goes, "No, this is military grade steel. This is great." And he slaps it, and then just immediately a gigantic cloud of dust comes out from the inside of it, and the iconic theme song for this movie starts playing. And there we go. We this hazardous material leaks out all over the facility that's covered in that has just dead bodies everywhere. And one of the bodies reanimates, comes to life. They try killing it. They try emulating the movies where it's like, oh, you just got to destroy the brain and then it'll die. And then they find out, nope, like every single inch of this thing is alive. Like you can cut them to pieces and the arm is still going to chase after you. Yeah, they call in the guy who actually owns the store. And so he goes, all right, the only way we could kill these things, we got to go over to the morgue. I'm friends with the guy who runs the morgue. And we're going to burn all these bodies alive in the crematorium. They go over there. Meanwhile, by the way, Freddy's friends are trying to find him because they want to go party. And so they're hanging out in the graveyard across the street, just like waiting for him to get off of his shift at his job. So they go over to the morgue. They end up getting the mortician in on all of this to try to get rid of the bodies. They burn up the bodies. And then all the ash goes up into the clouds. It rains down onto the graveyard, and the rain seeps into the ground and awakens all of the corpses in the graveyard. And a few of Freddy's friends end up getting killed. Freddy and his manager are also like getting increasingly more sick after their exposure to the chemical. Turns out like they call some ambulance in and they're like literally like scientifically medically dead. Like they're experiencing rigor mortis. They're not reacting to anything. Their blood temperature is room temperature. But they're just conscious. So they're suffering. They're really feeling like shit. The zombies start attacking the building that they're in. Basically, the whole rest of the movie is just them trying to, evade getting eaten by zombies. They get, the team gets broken up a couple times. Every time they try calling in the police or more ambulance, like the zombies just eat all of them up. We find out here that these zombies are actually trying to explicitly eat brains because they're suffering. They feel being dead at all times, and the only way to alleviate their pain is by eating brains, and that's where we get brains, like zombies trying to eat brains. That's where that comes from, is this movie. And then by the end of it, they call the number on the canister from the military grade chemical stuff, and they end up getting nuked in order to wipe out the plague of the undead. But it turns out, it just created more ash, which then rains down and spreads over the rest of the city. So, is the problem really solved? Probably not. So that's kind of the movie, in a brief summary as best as I could. There's a lot of kind of individual scenes and things that happen, but like the Freddy and turns into a zombie and starts trying to kill people and stuff. But yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah, dude, and it has 4 sequels for some reason.
for some reason, I've never checked out any of the sequels because spoilers, I do love this movie to death. So it's one of those things where I was really cautious about the whatever cash grab sequels they decided to make for this. Although I was just doing some research in between breaks here, and it seems like the second one like kind of like really sucks, but the third one kind of goes in a totally different direction from the synopsis that I was looking at. But it's much more liked than the second one. So I'm gonna have to check at least those 2 sequels out.
Yeah, dude. I knew going into this podcast episode how much I liked Evil Dead and how great that movie is. What I was not prepared for was how fucking awesome Return of the Living Dead was. Genuinely, dude. Um, Watch this. This was a last minute watch for me. I know last week on the podcast I was talking shit, saying like, "Oh, I've gotten this horrible habit of like literally watching things and then coming on the podcast immediately to talk about them." This was one of those movies for me. Like, got out of the class today, came home, me and Kate sat in bed and we watched this immediately. And I had maybe 20 minutes to spare before recording tonight. And we were just blown the fuck away. Absolutely loving this movie. It's really hard for me to get Kate to watch like older films from the like 80s, 70s even. I don't know why. Like, she just doesn't connect with a lot of them, which is fine. It's her style, whatever. But this one, she was just absolutely blown away by, and I love that, dude. Like, from the moment the theme song kicked into this, the quirky characters, the over the topness of everything, like this feels like every individual scene feels like it could be a random music video almost if you had just added music to it.
From a lot of needle drops. Yeah.
Not only needle drops, but like just from like a design standpoint, everyone looks ridiculous and incredible at the same time, dude. Like, I don't know who's in charge of costume design of this film, but they're awesome for it, genuinely. We get this group of teenagers.
The teenage friends just all look so fucking like hilarious.
They do.
All their names.
Yes.
One of the names I don't think you might demonetize us if we say it. But you know, you got one of them their name is just Trash, and she's just this insane redhead that's obsessed with death, and she fetishizes death the entire movie. And then at one point she literally rips off all of her clothes and starts dancing in a graveyard. And then of course she ends up getting mauled by a bunch of zombies, and she's, you know, crying hysterically as if she wasn't like begging for this to happen for her, like the way she had it in her mind, this fantasy. Like, I just the irony of her character and how they all are just so super edgy, and then as soon as things actually hit the fan, then they're all just getting like wiped out. Like,
absolutely, dude. And it's fucking like their designs are just great in this. And the naked woman you're talking about, I forget her name. But she looks just like Gozer from Ghostbusters, which is crazy.
She does. Yeah. I never made that connection before, but she does look just like Gozer. Yeah.
It's just nuts, dude. I just love this movie. Genuinely, like the zombie designs too are pretty ridiculous. We get this guy who I think they call him the Tar Man later on in the film.
Yes.
Our first zombie.
He is the Tar Man.
And he's just skin falling off. Like you mentioned earlier, the brain, the kind of stereotypes that we've come to know of zombies over the years. He's this walking embodiment of them, and it works really, really well, genuinely. This movie also does something unexpected for me, at least, that I love seeing films do. And we kind of talked about this way back when Army of the Dead came out on Netflix. There's a difference between like zombies and smart zombies, like zombies that are coherent and can not only communicate, but are well aware of how to fucking get your ass when you lock yourself in a locker in a basement. Seeing just these almost cartoon-like designs for these characters and them being given this oddly complex like skill of being a sentient like zombie is such a cool thing for this. Like, this movie has a whole bunch of ideas that like on paper sound great, and they just kind of shouldn't work, it feels like, almost, but they really do land it with this, genuinely. I don't know, man. There's not much I don't like about this movie, to be honest with you. I can't even think about anything off the top of my head. Dakari, what are some of your thoughts on Return of the Living Dead?
Well, you know, first time watching it, you know, it is indeed like I would say, um, something that I would understand. Another film, another case where I completely understand why people reference this a lot. This
Yeah.
is such a fun zombie movie. It's a very fun zombie movie. I will say it's kind of like the ideal zombie movie from the 80s, and that's
Yeah.
the biggest compliment I could give it, you know, because that's just what it is. You know, it's one of those movies where, you know, especially watching zombie movies today, like I'm not sure if you guys seen Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, but that's literally Return of the Living Dead, just with Boy Scouts in it. You know what
Oh,
I'm
cool.
saying?
Okay.
Like, Yeah, it's just stuff like that, just stuff that you notice in like older movies that you see in today. You can see the clear influence that this movie has had on many of the other movies that came after it. It's hilarious. It's extremely campy. It is highly energetic. I really appreciated the energy from all the cast members in this movie. Even some of the older actors
Oh yeah.
were very impressive. Very
They're my
impressive.
favorite.
Uh,
The
yeah, man.
manager and the boss are fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, they're hilarious.
The
They're
mortician, I
hilarious,
love
man.
him,
And then
dude.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's hilarious. And the practical effects work really well. I mean, the music is great. Yeah, I mean, it's just an all around fun, entertaining movie with pretty much nothing else going for it. I mean, I could have used, I don't know. I mean, this is my first time watching it. I feel like some characters are really dumb in this movie. Like, I don't understand why she got naked in the middle of a cemetery, bro. Like I understand that there's some fucking perverts in the audience during the fall of the grindhouse era that would want to see some shit like that in a zombie movie. I get it, but it's just like, why the fuck would you do some dumb shit like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
would you do that? You know, it's just shit like that in this movie that just kind of makes me feel like, okay, some things are kind of dumb. All right, but other than that, man, I do think this is a fun movie. And it ends a little abruptly too. It ends a little abruptly. I feel like that's where they kind of drew the line with the budget and everything because it just ends with the explosion and that's all we see. You know, and then after this explosion, we see the montage of the film at the end through the credits, and I'm like, okay, they might have blew the budget, but that's all right because the movie's still really good and entertaining.
Sure,
You know?
sure. I don't know, man. I dug the stupidity, like the naked zombie woman we're gonna call it. That's just fucking ridiculous. I just got done playing through Dead Island 2 a couple weeks ago. And I was talking about on the podcast, and that game is very much an over the top like zombie stuff or game, of course. Um, and I know Return came out obviously well before Dead Island 2 did, but I see that influence throughout all of it, dude. Genuinely, it's so fucking over the top and ridiculous. Like I cannot help but laugh. We get this moment where, you know, like you mentioned, she's dancing in the rain in a cemetery and she's stripping, and we get this full frontal nudity moment, dude, which is a huge deal at the time, mind you. Because less than 10 years later with Basic Instinct, we all know what happens with that film, you know, and we we get that with this, and for it to turn into this not only a bit where like, there's the acid rain and she's struggling, she's the only one not wearing clothes, and we give a bit of sympathy for her dumb decision then, but she also turns into the naked zombie and remains like having this hot figure and like has this bluish kind of skin where she looks like Gozer and ends up killing motherfuckers, dude. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Giant mouth that she like attacks people with. It's horrifying.
It's crazy, man. And it all just works. Like, I don't know. Return of the Living Dead is we keep saying the term lightning in a bottle, genuinely, but like this movie is just off the fucking rails in all the good ways. Like I cannot imagine what the pitch would it looked like to make this movie initially. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I love the fuck out of this, genuinely. Well, this has been my favorite episode of Monsters Mayhem so far, and one of my favorite pairings on the podcast. Like, we're halfway through watching this thing, and I look over at Kate. It's like, I fucking get it now, dude. Will's a genius. This is a great one. This one really like took me by surprise, and I think, you know, as much as I love Evil Dead and have that listed as kind of like a staple within horror franchises, I think Return of the Living Dead will be in my yearly rotation for Halloween from now on. This is a good like independent watch.
It's one of those for me. I don't think there's been a single year I haven't watched it since I watched it for the first time in like high school. Like it is, there's just something about it that I just like. I was kind of putting it off, like rewatching it this time, and so I ended up like doing it last minute, and it was because it's like I've seen this movie a million times. I do need to see it again just to have it fresh to talk about it. And then I end up turning it on, and I'm like, I remember like why I love this movie so fucking much. You know, I like couldn't like look away from it. Like, just this movie is genuinely so fucking funny. Like the performances of like the boss and the manager how they're just like trying to fix this horrible situation, but they're all like in clear denial. Like the actual boss, he's like, no, we can't call the military. We can't have the police coming here. I mean, come on. Think about my reputation. Yeah, like all this stuff keeps coming up, and then they're just like trying to handle this situation that is just rapidly spiraling out of control. And the more and more that it like grows like out of their control, like the funnier it gets.
Yeah, dude.
And like I love the guy, like the manager at the beginning, and at how like the rest of the movie, every time there's something happening with the zombie, he's just like, oh my god, like he's just wailing. Like his performance is so fucking funny. And I mean, like the teenage friend characters. I mean, they're just such a riot. I wish they were in more of the movie. Like the guy who's like totally like in the full leather, with the chains. And
like the one that's like pierced on his cheek or whatever.
Yeah, and he's just like, "What do you guys think I am, man? Like, what do you think this is a costume? This is a way of life." Like it's not like.
It reminds me almost of that scene in the first live action Ninja Turtles where they're going to like this dangerous gang and it's just Shredder having all these teenagers in this weird abandoned building. It reminds me of one of those kind of gets.
He could have been in the Foot Clan. Absolutely. Like, he looked ridiculous. There's so many good like lines in this movie. All the needle drops, amazing. I bought the vinyl. I wanted to.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
I fucking love all of the music in this movie. It is just so good. I mean, like as they're boarding up all the windows and like Surfing Dead from like the Cramps starts playing. It's just. It's such this groovy song, and then like they're all fighting for their lives. The guy gets his freaking brains like bitten out of his like skull. I mean, just I like what they do with the lore too. Like when they like how they figure that out is like they pull one of the zombies in, and it's just this really cool practical effect of just this like
chest the half
up.
yeah
And it's like, but like the spine is like writhing around like a tail like the whole time, and then she explains to them like, yeah, we're conscious, like we're aware of what's going on, and we're just in so much agony that they need brains in order to feel better, which makes it like, because a lot of zombie movies you always ask that question of like, is there anybody in there? Like, or are they just a husk and it's just the virus has taken over the body and the person is truly dead, like they're not there whatsoever. But this movie makes it explicitly clear that like these are just people who are in agony, like, totally suffering. And it's really dark for such a funny movie.
It is.
That's our motivation for the zombies. And then at the same time as you have the zombies outside, you have like you have like Freddy and the manager character like are also both slowly becoming zombies, and you're waiting for that to like the Chekhov's gun there to pay off. Which this movie has a million different Chekhov's guns that like as soon as they introduce, I'm like, oh, I remember how that gets paid off. Like,
oh yeah,
a line where the manager's like, I could operate that incinerator.
And we get the slow like crawl into it. It's great, dude.
Yeah. Oh my god. There's so much stuff like that in this movie that like I love, and the Tarman design. That's one of the best zombies ever put to screen, and he's not in the movie very much.
Yeah, no.
But when he's in there, it is just the suit acting is incredible, and it's very difficult to. When you make a suit like that to mimic the look of somebody like losing flesh and becoming bony, because obviously like costumes are additive. They're not, you can't remove obviously from a human body, but that every time I see him like walking out, like he really looks like a skeleton like come to life that's just kind of full of goop, and that's what his mass is at this point. It's that they put all their money into that particular zombie, and I love that design. And yeah, I don't know, like this movie's just fucking amazing, just all the way through.
Yeah, it is.
It's just so entertaining, like ridiculously fun. and another thing I wanted to say is that because what I was talking about with the zombies was like there was a period before I saw this movie that I really didn't like zombies that much as a movie monster. Like that
Okay.
was my hot take for a while, is that they're just kind of boring. Like it's just a guy shambling towards you slowly. Sometimes they're runners, like in like the Dawn of the Dead remake or whatever. So it's a little scarier, you know. But I like personality in my monsters. That is a thing that I care about. Unless it's, I mean, obviously you get like more crazy out there things like the monster from the Thing, or like more extra dimensional stuff like From Beyond. But even then, you had like the main villain is this guy with a personality that you can
Mhm.
really pin on that. I prefer that with my monsters, is either it's sympathetic or you love to hate them, that type of thing. But here, it reinvents the zombie. For the time, this is the first time as the zombies were given an actual real personality, and that I mean, I think there's one other film that also did that. Oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. It was another Day of the Dead. I believe there's a zombie in there where they
Okay.
try to reclaim its humanity, like throughout the course of the movie. Uh, I haven't seen that film. I don't remember if that came out before or after this, but I know that that also came out like in the 80s. Um, but yeah, like this really turned the zombies into characters rather than just uh, mindless creatures shambling around. I remember watching it for the first time, and when this one zombie walks into the ambulance truck and he goes, "Send more ambulance."
So great. I'm so glad you
Yeah,
mentioned that,
send
dude.
more paramedics.
Some more
Send more
cops.
police.
Yeah, so great.
Like that was chilling. Like that was haunting. Like that they could plan, they could think
Mhm.
and speak even. Um, and that just really elevated these zombies for me in a way where like if this was the Walking Dead universe, like the zombies themselves could actually be something interesting. That's why like I don't understand how people have watched like 15 seasons of the Walking Dead stuff, because like after a while the
Yeah.
zombies are the same fucking thing every time. Like you gotta
I
add
still haven't.
yeah.
I still haven't seen The Walking Dead.
Don't even
And
bother at this point,
the
dude.
first season's great. But
First five
the
are great. I'll give it that.
yeah.
Okay.
But like for me with zombies, it's like you have to either make him like semi-intelligent like this, or you gotta make him like crazy like Resident Evil,
Mhm.
where like here's the mutant crazy ass
Like a
one that
Last
has
of
like
Us kind of thing,
50
yeah.
giant eyeballs and tentacles everywhere, you know, like or this one's got a gun strapped to his arm, like Tyrant or something. And that yes, but I love this movie to death. I could ramble about it all day. I could put it back in my Blu-ray player right now and watch it, even though I just finished watching it earlier today. You know, it's one of those types of movies for me, and it's always a good companion piece with Evil Dead 2 because it has that same tone.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get into our final comments and ratings for Return of the Living Dead, just to go ahead and mention, Day of the Dead came out a literal month before Return did, actually.
Oh, wow. So,
yeah.
okay.
So same weekend. Yeah, it was just the
month
16th
before
to the 19th. A month before Return of the Living Dead.
That's one. That's another. That I believe is a Cesar Romero, actual zombie film.
I believe so. Pulling it up now. Yes, it
Of course,
is.
director of the actual Night of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of those classics I haven't seen yet, and I haven't even seen the original Dawn of the Dead either.
I haven't either. I've only been exposed to Night in this, dude. So,
yeah.
But I fucking love this. Let's dive into our final comments and ratings for this film and wrap up. Dakari, I'm gonna put you on the spot for this one first again, man. What are you feeling on Return of the Living Dead?
Yeah, like, as I said before, this is such a fun, energetic, campy zombie movie. It's a lot of energy. You know, this movie, I don't feel like this is a movie that could be made today
Oh no.
because it works. It works for the time period that it's set in, and it works for the time period it's set in exclusively. You know what I'm saying? Like even like I said, all the actors, even from the older actors, they are extremely energetic in this movie. And even though the story is pretty much like off the walls, insane almost, it's executed in a very digestible way because you see the shit happen.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing it happen, which validates the exposition that takes place afterwards because all the people that get involved don't know what the fuck happened, you know? So I feel like it is definitely a fun watch. I still feel like her getting butt ass naked in the cemetery was fucking stupid. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Listen. I don't give a. I know I'm heterosexual. I know I'm attracted to women. Okay, that's cool. All right. On the surface level, I mean, on the surface level, looking at it, yeah, whatever. But it's just like, that's fucking stupid. Why would you do that? And she suffered in the long run because that fucking rain got to her ass and she became a zombie. Go figure, right? But yeah, man. And then I feel like the ending was just a little bit rushed, just a tad bit. Um, but yeah, overall, this is such a fun movie. I would definitely watch this again. I feel like I could definitely watch this movie when like I'm high or something because it's that crazy. It's that crazy and it's that campy. I'll give this the best spin.
Okay, dude. For me, this is a straight Coruscant. I fucking loved this thing, dude. And I know you mentioned it, Dakari, about the ending as well. I love the ending of this. I love when a film can pull the rug out from under you and still leave you standing, and that's what it felt like with this movie. I didn't see the nuke thing coming. I almost completely forgot about the guy.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that whole sequence. I thought that was another movie for a second, and it's so subtle and it's so well done. The sequence, yeah, exactly. Thank you. When he gets out of bed and he just attends straight to the call, and he goes straight to the equipment that he just bitched at his wife for the last time he saw him. Like, it's just such a well put together bow for this film. Genuinely, it's a great beginning and ending for it. Yeah, I loved this thing, dude. Return of the Living Dead was such a pleasure, and it was definitely the best thing I watched all October. Like, this was such a great palate cleanser after Alien Earth, dude.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, this was an awesome pairing in general, and this is a Coruscant for me. Where are you at with this one, Will?
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise. This is a Coruscant. This, like I said at the beginning of this, this and Evil Dead 2 are like some of my all-time favorite movies, just period, not just horror movies. This movie is so well put together in so many levels. It doesn't have like the first thing I noticed watching these two movies together again today was the direction style. Like something like Sam Raimi's style is something that is just so unique to him, and so like engrossing and inspiring and chaotic the way he shoots his films. While this movie is it's pretty standard, the camera work, which was something that like I will have to give Evil Dead 2 that leg up on it. But the actual contents of the film itself, like the way the plot just, there's something so satisfying about the way the plot just spirals out of control. Like every action leads to another reaction, which leads to another reaction, and that impacts like all these other characters, which leads to so many other things happening. It's a very well put together, like structurally film. And I will keep saying it. This movie's hilarious. Just like every scene, every
it is
has like a moment that is really funny.
It is, surprisingly. That's definitely what took me aback when I watched this movie for the first time, which was I watched it for the first time today. And as dark and existential damn near as the subject matter is, this movie is so fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like when the characters are trying to figure out how to fucking eradicate these zombies, the dialogue exchanges had me like almost in tears laughing. Like, this is by far might be the funniest horror movie I've seen. It is definitely up there. Like, I was shocked.
What's in the trash bags? Rabid
weasels.
Weasels.
And then his whole bit where he's like, I think you should take this to the animal control or the shelter. That's
it's just like, it's such a like realistic like reaction to that, you know, like and then at one point he's like, oh, you know what, all right, you don't want to do all that, you know, let's just take him out back and just let me take care of him then. And he's like, no, you can't do that. It's just, it's so good, man. Everything about it is just so fucking funny. This is a masterclass in like horror comedy.
Oh yeah.
And so it's again one of those movies I'm going to keep watching every year until I die. It's one of those films for me. Yeah, like I can't wait to watch it again. You know, next spooky season, of course. And it's one I always love showing people too, because it's a movie that doesn't. It's like it's very popular like within like the horror community, but like it's not for like your average like horror person. Like an average like horror person may have seen Evil Dead, like some of those films, but because like Return of the Living Dead isn't like a very specifically famous franchise,
Sure.
it gets kind of lost in the shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
So I love showing people this movie, and they always like I put it on for a Halloween party a couple years ago, with like a bunch of people, and they were all locked in. And like I remember people being like, "Oh, this movie's like actually amazing." Like I didn't know like at first like what this was gonna be, but like Will, you were hyping that up, and it actually paid off. Oh yeah, and one more thing to Kari's point about like the nudity and stuff. I somebody friends the other day was like, "You keep putting on these horror movies where there's just naked women everywhere." Like we're watching The Substance right now. A couple of weeks ago, I put on this movie called Life Force, which like like I think I remember I told you about this like last year.
You did,
That's
yes.
when I had first watched it, and it's literally like this. There's just this fully naked woman for the first like 45 minutes of the movie. She's just this like naked alien zombie vampire. But she like presents herself as this like gorgeous woman walking around naked the whole movie, and like everybody's just like, "Will, is this why you wanted us to see this?" But yeah, and then of course this film as well has that scene. I remember that was a riot when I showed people this. They were like, "Whoa, oh my god, I was not expecting it to like show that much." Like it's a lot.
So good. Dude.
I hope the actress was paid well. I hope she was treated well on set. Like, cause that's, I thought her character was really funny and kind of iconic. Like, just like I've never seen that in a movie before, like this. So.
Yeah, dude. If there was any character, I'd say is like the poster for, other than the Tar Man, is her.
Yeah.
So, such a good pick, dude. Such a good pick this week. This is the last week of Monster Mayhem 2025, dude. Matter of fact, crazy enough, we've come a full circle for our little spooky season run this year. Yeah, dude, this has been a blast. Truly, like I know we gave. I don't want to say we did a trial run last year of Monster Mayhem. Obviously we had the full. Each week we had a different topic for it. We had you co-hosting for that section too. But like going all out this year, giving it the proper branding for the intro kind of deal, and really leaning even more into the monster aspect of everything has been such a blast, dude. Like this is something I'm really looking forward to for 2026, and for the next season of Galaxy of Film. And I feel guilty. We can't compete. We can't do a Christmas Mayhem. That's not going to compare to anything like this, So it's been a blast doing this one, man. Truly. Thank you for coming up with the idea of doing this, Will, for bringing us to Galaxy of Film in general. And I'm very proud of you for really landing it this year, dude. Like you just had Acts of Violence is this fucking crazy bold film in the midst of doing this whole month-long thing, and it all landed. It all worked out for you, dude.
Thank you. So. I'm glad to bring you guys along, on this road trip of Monster Mayhem, and getting to show you guys a lot of movies that you have never seen before. Which is always awesome to like get to expose you guys to these like movies that I've been watching, all the time for the last like several years, that like are just a part of my regular rotation of like, October movies.
Yeah.
So now you guys get to watch those all the time now. But yeah, that's I love horror movies. I love monster movies. I love talking about them. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being a part of this. And yeah, this is my favorite time of the year. So
yeah. Now that you mention it too, Will, the only movie I've seen this month that I'd seen before has been Evil Dead 2. Everything else has been brand new watches.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, no, you had seen Color Out of Space.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'd seen Color Out of Space. Yeah, okay. Color Out of Space and Evil Dead 2. Everything else is brand new to me, dude. From Beyond, Alien, of course, and now diving into this piece, dude. And then the Final Destination sequels I never watched either, just the original.
I've just seen the first Final Destination. I've seen the first one, and then I saw the second one years ago.
Oh yeah.
But that was that.
All solid new entries, dude. This has been a really fun one. But I think, guys, it's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode. I know we got a lot coming on for the rest of the season for Galaxy of Film. Like we said at the start of this episode, next week, if you're one of our weekly listeners that tunes in every Thursday morning, we will not have an episode up. We'll be taking a break for a week. We'll be coming back the second week of November, hitting hard with hopefully a special guest episode we got lined up. Trying to make it work, guys. It's just scheduling is fucking hell. So you guys will have a great time with that episode whenever it comes out, of course. But regardless, we'll be seeing you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for sticking around. Oh, go ahead.
I do want to make one announcement.
Okay.
Very special, very important announcement.
Okay, let me hear it, dude.
Next Monsters Mayhem, we will be covering Boxer's Omen. Okay. I promise.
There we go.
We were going to watch that movie. I was looking up where to watch it the other day. But it just wasn't on anything. I have to
We'll all be getting physical copies of Boxer's Omen for the next Monsters Mayhem, dude.
Yes.
I mean, shit. Well, you're gonna have to get Shaw Scope Volume 2 if that's the case.
It's only in a collection.
Yeah.
We'll all be going to Dakari's house for Monsters Mayhem.
We're flying.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, God, dude. But for our listeners, thank you so much for sticking around for this Monster Mayhem season. It's been a blast. Like I said, stay tuned for 2 weeks from now when we come back with Season 4 of Galaxy of Film. But if you enjoy the show, please consider leaving us an iTunes or Spotify review. It truly does help out the show much more than you can imagine. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye, guys.
Peace.
Bye.
You can find all our other podcasts, original films, articles, and music on our website, galaxyoffilm.com. We're also on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, and you can join our Patreon for exclusive content and our Facebook fan club for early access to our films.